Congratulations on this, Mike. I thought this was extremely captivating, very much something I think everybody can relate to. The sense of family is something that's very important, especially when growing up. How do you feel sharing this story with the world?
Uh, I feel that it's a story that needs to be told. I feel that it's a story that needs to be told so that we can shine the light on a lot of other stories and people in their trials and tribulations, so that they can get the relief that they need and the support that they need.
Um, this story it tells history through a very personal point of view, which is your family's point of view. Um, what do you hope people get when they finish watching this?
Um, I hope that the people, when they finish watching this, they'll come away with understanding that there is a need to never give up. When people watch this story, they're going to have all kinds of feelings, but it's important to continue the movement. Anything that is worth fighting for is worth fighting for until you achieve your goal. There is nothing more worth fighting for than the people you love.
Definitely. And how do you feel having gone through all this now, being able to share it with the world? And what kind of feelings come up in you when you rewatch this and re-go through all these feelings?
It's a mixed bag, it's a roller coaster of emotions. You feel happy, you feel sad, you feel angry. There's all kind of things that come up. But and also, like, watching the other people who went through these things watch this film. You see all kinds of things. They get a chance to see themselves that they haven't seen for 40 years. 40 years is a long time, and it's a long time to be accused of something and be punished for something that you didn't do. So watching my family as they watch the film, and watching my mom watch her younger self, and it's there's all kind of emotions that come up. I think probably the most common emotion is is, I guess, is the sense of, like, sadness, knowing that all of these things happened to these people, and the life that they lost, the life that they were robbed of, they can never get that back. The youth that they were robbed of, they can never get that back. The family members that they lost, they can never get that back. So that's probably the most common emotion throughout this all.
And like you said, it's been 40 years and people are reliving it. People are still living through similar situations now. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel that it goes back to the original point of never giving up. John Africa explained that the system is controlled by pressure. And if you want to get something done, you can't expect it to just happen on its own. If the government was going to give us justice and equality, we wouldn't have to protest for it. People wouldn't have to march and demonstrate for it. Harriet Tubman would not have had to lead slaves out of slavery for freedom. So, the system is controlled by pressure, and it ain't going to move your way just because you want it to, just because you suffer, just because your children are murdered. It doesn't change, so it goes back to that original point of never giving up.
I feel like a lot of people are going to get very angered by the stuff that they watched during this documentary. But what good is anger when you don't have that follow through, like you said, to keep on going to achieve a goal? What do you hope will happen to cause that change that needs to happen?
Well, I think that in some ways it is happening. I think when people see what happened to George Floyd, and what happened to Ahmaud Arbery, what happened to Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Aiyana Jones, Wendell Washington Charlie, Winston Hood. There's a countless list of people that have become revolutionary minded that otherwise were not. But something happened to their brother, something happened to their sister. The government, the system has done certain things that has forced the people into action where, a week ago, they may have been waving their red, white, and blue flag and talking about how they're proud of the country and all of that. But as a result of their son being shot to death by police and the police not even facing any type of punishment for it, maybe that person now rethinks the way they feel about the country and the government that runs it. So I think that my biggest hope is for people to see things for what they really are and make a decision as to what they want things to be.
You just named a long list of people who have suffered a lot of tragedy. What would you like to say to the family of those people who don't are very confused of how to feel? How do you continue to be able to push forward with what happened with your family?
Well, throughout this 2020 year of demonstrations, my group, I'm the member of a group called the Black Philly Radical Collective. And we have a list of 13 demands. One of the demands is to defund the police. And, we don't scream to defund the police because we think that we don't need the police because it's not a thing of we don't need the police because we want violence to happen. The reason we don't need the police is because of the killing that they're doing to us. Also, the police become necessary in society when the lines are drawn and you got a group of people on one side that is rich and in control of all the resources. And then you got the masses of people on the other side that are in need of resources and their resources have been stolen from them. And then so you got the police in between those two groups, and the police are protecting the rich and fighting us and killing us. So, in this whole thing of defunding the police, we're not saying that you should defund the police because we want violence. What we're saying is when you put the resources into the community, the proper families, educational values, true education. I'm not just talking about reading, writing, and arithmetic. I'm talking about teaching people the truth, teaching them about life and the importance of life, the importance of respecting each other and loving your neighbor and your brothers and your sisters, and honoring that and having that be the central guide that keeps people on track. When you have systems like that in place, you have less systems of dominance and racism and all that. So basically what I'm saying is it was the community of MOVE, the community of our supporters, of our family and friends. That is what I attribute my sanity to at this point, because without my family, without my community, I will be lost. And that's why it's important to build community. It is important to defund the police because the millions and billions of dollars that they're receiving to be a militarized organization attacking people, killing 3 unarmed Black people, every day in this country, that those resources could be put toward better health care, better extracurricular activities that would keep people occupied. It could be put toward jobs and making sure that people have what they need. When everybody have what they need, the level of violence goes down, which means the need for police.
Definitely. And we saw the journey you took in order to get your parents back into your life outside of the prison system. What has happened since between you and your family? How have you guys been able to rebuild what you guys have had?
Well, we can never get what we lost back, but what we can do and what we have been doing is working together to kind of reestablish what was taken from us and just try as much as we can to make up for by spending as much time with each other as we can. Before the pandemic, we were taking a lot of trips together. We were living together. We did a lot of things, but probably the most important thing that we did was we made sure that we continued to fight for the release of other people. My parents were the first two to get out of prison, but when they got out of prison, we continued to work to get other people out, and we stayed the course to get Janet and Janine and Eddie out and Delbert out and Chuck out. And so now we're on this mission to get our brother Mumia Abu Jamal out. He's the last member of our family that's in prison, and we're next year he will be in prison for 40 years himself. So that's the kind of work that we do repeatedly, constantly, all day, every day. And the vacation time, meaning the trip to the store and buying whatever you want to buy without restriction, those are the little fun moments that we sprinkle in between the work that we're doing.
Well, thank you very much for sharing your story. Thank you very much for your time you're giving me right now, and I hope you continue to succeed in all the endeavors you put on in front of yourself.
Thank you. Can I leave my contact information?
Yes, go for it.
So people can contact me at Mike Africa Jr. On Facebook. I'm Mike Africa Jr. on Instagram, Mike Africa Jr. on Twitter. And if anyone wants to get more information, please go to my website, www.mikeafricajr.com.